I'll start talking. You keep writing. Yeah, thanks. Hello and welcome to our U19 Boys OYSA State Cup Championship game between the defending champs Oregon Premier FC and a United PDX team looking for their second State Cup title in the past 3 seasons. My name is Seth, soon to be joined by Efran here on Oregon Sports Beat, and we've got two teams who know each other very well. Two teams played 3 times a year ago. Oregon Premier FC had the upper hand. This year, United PDX 1-0 against their rivals, and we have quite the matchup for you here in the Under-19 Boys State title game with two contrasting styles. Oregon Premier FC during Cup play has outscored their opponents 21-2, including 5 or more goals in all 3 of their group stage games. On the other side, United PDX has yet to give up a goal, outscoring their opponents 10-0 to this point. Both of these coaches, though, feel very comfortable in winning anyway, and they've got a number of very talented players between the two sides. As we take a little bit more of a look between these two teams, Max Reckerman, the right back for Oregon Premier FC, scored 5 goals in a single game earlier this season, and it just shows the depth in scoring that this Oregon Premier FC team has this year. They scored 16 goals in a single game in the run-up to the OYSA State Cup. On the opposite side, United PDX has a ton of talented players. They will be without keeper Elliot Perelius today. Tate Glock, who will be heading to Cal Baptist in the fall, it will be in net. One player to watch for United PDX is Gunnar Miller, the University of Maryland Baltimore County commit. Not only one of the most talented players, he alongside Cole Amon are potential game changers on the United PDX team, but Gunnar Miller is one of the key set piece takers. And Ben, as you join the broadcast, set pieces could be a crucial aspect of the game, something that Oregon Premier head coach Connor Peter Hans said is going to be vital for his team, not only to not concede too many free kicks, but also that they really need to work hard against the United PDX team that has been excellent in attacking set pieces this season.
Yeah, both teams are clinical on the set piece, so you just don't want to give away any silly fouls and give them extra chances.
Oregon Premier will be in the navy, going from right to left. United PDX, we just saw their girls team play in the U19 Girls State Cup Championship, will be in the white, going from left to right. In net for Oregon Premier, it'll be Aiden Ferrero-Barco getting the start as we are about to get underway in what promises to be an extremely exciting contest between the two sides.
Yeah, lots of familiarity, as you mentioned, so these guys really know what to expect from each side, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this unfold.
Both of these teams here at the U19 level, this is probably the last time the majority of these players will get a chance to play with each other. So not just a championship game, but a final time to play with players that you've probably been friends with and played with for quite a few years. As we are underway here in the championship game, Oregon Premier controlling. High-scoring team, but according to head coach Tarosis Peter Hans, they feel confident if this game ends 1-0, they could come out on the better end. They did graduate quite a few of their top defenders a year ago, and they've added a little bit more strength in their attack. Big reason why they've been such a high-scoring team, but they don't keep as many clean sheets this year. Again, have just allowed 2 goals in State Cup play, not as an issue in it anyways. Mason Bradley attacks on the far side and will push it back.
Yeah, and in one game they won 5-2, so who knows really what the game situation was and what their level of focus towards the end of that game was.
In the one meeting this year between the two teams, Oregon Premier was issued a red card early in the second half and got beaten pretty badly by United PDX. United PDX has lost just once all season, 14-1 to this point. Trying to keep that sparkling record. The pass just out of the reach of Kean Mueller, but already we're maybe a minute in. You can see how well this Oregon Premier team moves the ball.
Really knocking it around effortlessly and finding each other, moving off the ball, getting into open passing lanes.
Well, and moving left to right, right to left. The PDX hasn't had much of the ball, but this is a team that has quite a few different game changers. This ball is loose and played out to the far side. Working with it there is Carson Salmons. Salmons looking to drive towards the goal line, keeps it alive, but it will be booted out by Mason Kamasudavan. Actually, I believe it's Kamsudavan.
Yeah. Well done, Seth.
Definitely not as confident in my Cambodian pronunciations, but we'll get a throw in here from United PDX. This is a fascinating matchup, not only because of the talent on the field, but because these two teams have seen each other a lot, and you have some familiarity, not only because some of these coaches coach opposing players at different academies, but even, I believe, the head coach of Oregon Premier played collegiately with one of the assistant coaches at United PDX, both playing at Division III Pacific University out in Forest Grove.
Yeah, and then add in the excitement. This is a state championship game, so no excuse for not being up for it and bringing your, leaving it on the field.
Yeah, little bragging rights to go along with all of the excitement of potentially winning a state cup championship, as also seems to be warming up just a tad.
Yeah.
Feels like the sun might come out at some point.
Yeah, it was a cold start to the day out here, a little unseasonably cold for May, even up here in the Pacific Northwest.
This is Ariel working with it on the far side. We were told he's got the game to be a one-name player, very much in the Brazilian style of soccer, as this one is booted all the way across, and working to track it down for United PDX is Evan Huber. Huber, one of a couple players in this game, sporting some heavy tape on a hand. Fortunately, as long as you're not a keeper, you can deal with a hand injury in soccer pretty easily. This is sprayed across to Salmons. Good work from the keeper, Tate Glock, who again is the backup, but he's someone that the coaching staff, David Caban and his group, are very confident in, as we've got a little stoppage due to a United PDX player tying his shoes. Exciting day. We've had championship games. I don't know if they're playing championship games directly to our right on the grass field, but there's definitely 2 or 3 fields worth of championship games going on. They were handing out trophies for other state championship games earlier, and Columbia Premier defeated United PDX in the girls U19 title, and I assume they had their trophy presentation in between games. We've got a foul coming on Salmons.
Pretty good distribution out of Tate Glock from the goalkeeper positions. A couple times he's really put it right on his teammates' cleats.
We'll see the free kick taken by Emmy Rojo, and while Oregon Premier says they're not as good at free kicks as United PDX is, United PDX was certainly wary of these free kick opportunities, and this is the first attacking free kick we'll see for either side. Rojo puts it into the box. It's a good one, bounces all the way in on Glock, and after spilling it, able to pick it up, and then looks like the keeper was really the aggressor there and knocking down one of the Oregon Premier players.
That was a little talking to. It did seem like a touch of extracurriculars, a little bumble, and his ball, and he's going to, get that call 99 out of 100 times, but
yeah, he knocked down Carson Kosick, but you're not going to give a penalty for the goalkeeper knocking someone down in the box, as that one is sprayed behind the Oregon Premier tent, which makes up their bench, and immediately put back to the play by Henry Catlin.
Just great composure passing the ball for Oregon Premier so far.
Both teams arguing whose ball it should be. And eventually the free kick will be given to United PDX. Keeping it alive is Huber, and it'll be pushed all the way around. I haven't had a chance to call Gunnar Miller's name yet, and Miller is tracking back almost into a defensive mid position as we see a heavy challenge on Salmons. And it'll be a free kick just inside the defensive half for United PDX. And it sounds like David Caban is not happy with the lack of a card there. And I do agree with part of what he said, saying that, I think we are going to see a yellow card issued. Took the referee
early.
a while, but I believe it's Ariel who was just issued the first yellow card of the game. And David Caban was arguing with the fourth official. It shouldn't matter how early in the game it is. If it's a yellow card, offense, it should be a yellow card offense. And I agree with that logic. I think sometimes championship games are a little bit harder to officiate because you don't want to make an impact as the referee. And this is a great free kick in terms of distance. It's Miller battling to keep it in. He did so, cleared away for the moment. Ariel and Salmons, players who just got into that challenge, and it will be out for a throw-in. I think they're going to give a goal kick.
Yeah, goal kick.
So an early yellow. Something to watch because in the first game we did see a player sent off for Oregon Premier. Say we weren't at that first game, but
yes,
it was really helpful to get a chance to talk to the coaches and get some information from the coaches so that we could sound like we know more than we do about these two teams. As there's a sliding tackle by Emmy Rojo.
Got the ball first and then a little bit of the man after.
All loose, and it looks like Miller is playing in that midfield role. Maybe not a 6, more of a box-to-box situation. He's one of the biggest players on the field.
Regular Franz Breckenbauer.
Yeah, he's listed as a midfielder/forward. Greater presence in the midfield, capable of creating goal-scoring chances from very little. United PDX will spray this ball forward, just a bit too heavy for Coleman. And it's out for another goal kick with Aiden Ferreira-Barco getting involved. Very little between the two teams here in the early going. I am 3 for 3 in starting my stopwatch late, but we're just about 10 minutes in to this State Cup Championship game at the under-19 boys level. The pass sprayed looking for Jaden Igarta, but that one will go out for another throw-in. Wind is picked up again.
Yeah, no clear-cut scoring opportunities as of yet.
This one will be headed out and stay with Oregon Premier FC. You got to figure that Oregon Premier FC would like this to be a higher scoring game. I mean, they certainly feel comfortable in a spot like that. United PDX, they've only scored the 10 goals to this point across 4 games, winning 4-0 over Santos FC, and 13 goals over 4 games. So they're certainly capable of scoring multiple goals.
Yeah, they've got to be pretty proud of that clean sheet over and over again, and you just wonder if they do get scored on, if they'll get a little rattled.
Yeah, I think United PDX is a team that would be happier keeping this a low-scoring game. In the middle of that defense, give a shout-out to Travis Rexler and Griffin Scott, the 2 center backs who have certainly played a part in posting 4 consecutive clean sheets. This one is played along the turf and lofted with really no one in Navy around the ball. It was cleared away by Griffin Scott for the moment and eventually played out. Tomas Serrano able to keep the ball alive. This is the second of 4 games we'll have live for you on Oregon Sports Beat. So that's played forward and so will easily be picked up by Aiden Ferreira-Barco. Looks like in the middle today it'll be Carson Kosick and Mason Kamsudavong. The middle of that defense for Oregon Premier is losing his footing, and the ball was Henry Catlin. Coleman throws it in and gets it right back. Amon will leave it off for Cesar Gregorio Torres. It's interesting. Despite knowing each other really well, this does feel like a little bit of a feeling out period, a little bit of just probing to see where you might find some weaknesses as that ball is sprayed forward, but really haven't seen not only shots, but real chances around the 18-yard box for either side to this point.
It's been a cautious opening, but again, yeah, a lot of familiarity. Championship game, nobody wants to make a mistake. It's the kind of game that needs a goal.
Or at least a chance.
Yeah.
This one is headed down by Gunnar Miller. Now, this is also the kind of game for a player like Gunnar Miller where you don't need a ton of chances, a ton of opportunities. He's able to take that one small opening and take advantage as Kamsudavong will play it back for his keeper, and this one will be booted long. Right back into the mixer. That should be a throw-in in favor of Oregon Premier. It looked like it went off a white shirt last, and it will. As to this point, Jaden Igarta has kind of been an isolated figure up top for Oregon Premier. He's currently joined by Kian Mueller, but they haven't been able to get a lot of sustained possession in the attacking third. It will be Igarta here. It's not a team that relies on just one player to score goals. They've scored 21 of them in the State Cup, and it's been 4, 5, 6 different players who have scored the majority of them. So we've got an offsides against Oregon Premier, and we'll go back to United PDX. Might have actually been a foul throw.
Rare, one of the rarer calls in the game.
Yeah, I mean, one of those that I think every time, especially at this level or higher, the coach is just kind of like, what? Like, something you don't expect.
Yeah.
It's a little bit tougher when the ball's a little wet, and that can play factors. We've got a rare counter-attacking chance. Ball sprayed out wide. This is Sammons, and a great step.
Really well done.
From Catlin to break that up. That looked promising for a moment.
Read it had to be decisive.
Catlin, one of his midfielders, looking for space to the near side. This is Kosick. Kosick has it tapped away, and that's a good job tracking back there by Evan Huber. Catlin, play it over to Kosick, who looks long. He'll play it for Igarta, just over the head of his center forward, and Griffin Scott content to play it back for his keeper. Take Glock under a little bit of pressure. We'll try to find a teammate there in Bowen Toiber, but it's too strong. This could also be a game where, because at the youth level you get more substitutions, where this might take 1 or 2 substitutes to unlock this contest. We saw in the girls U19 game that as soon as they started putting in some of the subs, it created some mismatches. That ball is floated towards the back post. Ball's loose, shot, and it's cleared off the line.
Oh.
Really nice play. I believe that was Griffin Scott.
Essential defensive touch there. We were looking at 1-0. I mean, there's the best chance of the game.
And that was the one-name man, Ariel, at the back post. The ball bounced off the back of one defender. He was able to get to it, and then it was cleared off the line. Again, I believe it was Scott, the defender, who was back behind his keeper. So we'll get our first corner kick for either side. Left-footed in-swinger. And it's into the 6, punched away by the keeper, but only to a blue shirt. Still control, the right-footed shot. Another defender gets in the way, and this one will go just wide. That was a really strong look from Kian Mueller.
Yeah, you can see Oregon Premier scored a lot of goals this year. I mean, asking questions. First, almost a poacher's goal for Ariel, and then a big blast coming in that defensive shape held for PDX United. But Premier starting to get on the front foot here.
Well, after no shots for the first 15 minutes-ish of the game, 3 shots in quick succession from Oregon Premier. Only the one on target, but this is much more of what they're looking to do as they try to counter once again. Mueller will play it back for Kosick. Kosick looking for options, plays it on the turf. This is Ariel, who had his shot knocked off the line. Pushing it back for Bradley. Bradley spraying it over for Mueller, looking for Igarta behind Ariel. And Ariel will look to open up some space, working 1v1 against Salmons.
Yeah, just subtly unbalancing his defender and keeping possession.
And there was a goal in one of the other games here at the Tualatin Hills Athletic Center, because there is a massive screen from behind us to the right. It's broken up in the midfield, and now United PDX looks to turn. This is Miller. Miller pushing it ahead for Aguiar. Aguiar, and it's crossed by Amon, but right back at him and out for a goal kick.
Nice piece of team attacking play there. They linked together, United linked together several good passes and got the ball in the box.
Feels like this game opened up as soon as there was one chance. United PDX looks more confident going forward as well. This will be Evan Huber to take it. Looks like he'll go with the left-footed in-swinger as well. And United PDX is going to have everyone on the far side of the box running towards the ball as Huber right at the keeper and punched away.
I think he's going for the Olympico there.
Good work by Ferreira Barco to punch it away decisively. Another huge screen. I don't know if there are penalties or not, but sounds like that game's fun as well.
Yeah, great atmosphere, great time to be down here. It is warming up. Food truck, lots of families, dry places to sit, or at least a few of them for us.
Mueller able to cut through a pair of players, has options to his left and his right. Mueller will leave it out wide to Igarta, the center forward at the sideline, now working the goal line. Still with it, 1v1 with one of the center backs, and it'll be pushed up the line nicely there by Griffin Scott, out for a throw.
Oops.
Broken up, and this is Gunnar Miller.
You know, had he picked his head up early, the keeper was off his line a lot, but
splits the doubles team and still with it. Miller, though, dispossessed. A great sliding tackle after he'd gotten through two players. Coming over to help out was Emi Rojo. And eventually out, but we're 20 minutes in, and this game went from a slow pace to all of a sudden it's frenetic. Back and forth, they counter, and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, good end-to-end action. Nice to see.
Seth Orensky joined by Ben Efran here for the OYSA U19 Boys State Cup Championship game between Oregon Premier and United PDX. Oregon Premier, your defending champs at this level. United PDX looking for their second title in 3 years. Won the title at, I believe it was the U16 level back during the 21-22 season. Igarta couldn't quite get there. Ball is popped up and headed down comes Sutavan, who was one of the players who couldn't keep up with Miller and got split, but he's looked very calm and confident. And we'll get a throw in here for Cole Amon. Amon is one of those two players that Connor DeRosas, Peter Hans pointed out are huge game changers. Amon from the right back spot, and Miller, who's dropped back a little bit further than maybe we expected. But two players that DeRosas, Peter Hans has worked with, has coached against, and noted they've got to really keep track of where they are on the pitch. It's going to be Solomon Barnett waiting to check on for United PDX. You can only field 18 players for a championship game. But with both of these teams having as deep of rosters as they do, expect to probably see 16 or 17. And coming off just about 20 minutes in is Alex Aguiar. And we'll see Barnett taking advanced position. On the throw, and it's Kosick looking for Igarta. Ball bouncing around and unable to quite keep it in is Rexler. Out for another throw, and all of a sudden Oregon Premier, who's yet to use a sub, looks like they're going to warm up their entire bench. I mean, you see professional teams do that all the time. They just have a little bit more space on the sideline than we do at this complex. which is a gorgeous place to watch soccer. Ball played back to the keeper. A little bit of pressure, but dealt with by Tate Glock. It's bounced around and eventually will go out for a throw.
Yeah, well shielded.
Yeah, Max Reckerman over there on the far side. Only 3 shots to this point, all from Oregon Premier, all within a span of 60 seconds, as we're going to see a high/dangerous boot there against Oregon Premier, and it will lead to a free kick just outside the 18-yard box.
Yeah, nothing dirty, but against the rules, nevertheless.
Just over 20 minutes in. Still 0-0 between an Oregon Premier team who scored 21 goals in the State Cup and given up just 2, a goal differential of 19. Sounds like an absurd number considering they've only played 4 or 5 games.
Yeah,
5
like
games.
A handball.
And a United PDX team that has scored 13 while conceding 0 times over their games, as this one is floated across.
They're both impressive numbers. 21 goals and 0 against are both definitely to be emulated.
Catlin, who's done well out of this left back spot, especially with Amon, the roving right back on the opposite side, pushing forward at moments. This one will come all the way down to Glock. It seems like after a period of about 5 minutes where it was just back and forth, we have slowed down a bit here in the last couple minutes. The
like
ebbs and flows of a 90-minute soccer game.
Especially a championship game.
This one is off the foot of Reckerman and out for a throw. Yeah, and I think playing a championship game, as much as you want to go forward and score goals and be the player who leads your team to victory, there's also a little bit of added pressure to not be the player that makes that one key defensive mistake or even turns the ball over in the attacking half, and it leads to the goal going the other way that decides the game. So
yeah, you don't want to lose it, and you know, if you're tied after 90, I believe the message was we go an extra 30, and on the penalties, so you're in the game. You don't need 3 points. You just need to win.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't matter if it's a beautiful performance or a scrappy one, as long as you can be the team that comes out on top, because now both teams have the majority of their subs warming up. And it does feel like we're going to see 3 to 4 subs here in the final 20-ish minutes of the first half for either side. Looks like the first man heading to the scorer's table will be Quinton Torbert. There's another player who looks easily 6 foot or taller.
Yeah, taller.
I mean,
hence some of these good options on the set pieces.
yeah, we really, and we've only seen one. Oregon Premier, a huge thing that they said they needed to do was avoid set pieces in the attacking half. And it looks like Torbert is ready to come in and will replace Kian. This is going to be Kian Mueller. Nope, it will be Ariel, as Mueller came over to talk to Torbert. But Ariel, the lone player playing on a caution, got the early yellow card, will come off here.
I still don't expect him to be on the bench long.
No, I mean, he's played well. Attacking players haven't necessarily had a chance to shine, but Ariel has looked good. It's been the defenders really that have shown, as the goalies haven't had to do much. And here's the substitute trying to get a shot off after he took the ball off the foot of Kosick, and Barnett unable to get the shot off, but really showing off the burners there to create a mini chance. Brian Jimenez Mendez is ready to check on for United PDX, but he'll wait till after this free kick, as it'll be Evan Huber once again taking the corner. I believe this is just the second of the game for United PDX. First time he went for goal. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but we'll see where this left-footed in-swinger ends up. Yeah. over towards the back post this time, and another nice job getting a hand on it by Ferrero Barco. That's a challenging spot for a keeper, as this will end up a goal kick. The United PDX player lost his footing.
The long arm of the law.
Well, that's a tough spot as a keeper because you're deflecting the ball into kind of no man's land because you have no idea what's behind you. Ederson yesterday at Man City did a similar play on a cross that wasn't off of a corner, and it led to a goal as he cleared it right to Huang of Wolves, but you got to just trust that your defense is going to be there.
Yeah, and you got to get it out of the immediate danger area. And if you can't secure it and catch it, that's the second best thing.
Ferro Barco, a low goal kick, but Kosick is there to clear it away. Now he floats it across looking for Igarta. Flicked away by Rexler and out for a throw. It just shows that we can make something out of just the smallest little chance. And they're just looking to Igarta as a true target center forward, where it seems like United PDX is kind of trying to build a little bit more. Miller in more of a reserved role, even though he is one of the team's top scorers. I believe this is Amon working his way forward. Nope, this is actually, yeah, no, this is Coleman working from that right back spot. Slowed it down. The substitutes, Gregorio Torres.
And Amon carries on his run, as we've talked about earlier, getting dangerous from his wing-back position. Definitely an attack-minded fullback.
Ball floated in with one shot cleared off the line by a defender, one shot blocked, and one shot going just wide from Columbia Premiers. We are still scoreless, close to 30 minutes into this first half of the U19 Boys State Championship game.
Yeah.
Got a foul in a bad position, and
yeah, a little bit of a late whistle, but I think he just thought it over and got it right.
well, Connor DeRosas Peterhans stressed how important it was not to give up these free kicks, and he was right below us and immediately kicked something over into the fencing by him. This is not the spot you want, just outside the 18, maybe 19, 20 yards out. There's some big bodies who are going to look to get ahead
dual
on it.
threat. There's no doubt he can shoot this. There's no doubt he can try to pick up less of that.
Well, United PDX has just recorded their first two shots. Neither really bothered the keeper for Premier, but like to grow into the game. And a big part of it has been this man. Yeah, it's been Barnett, the substitute, who's come on and provided some real pressure. Another shot that doesn't go anywhere, right into the body. And this is a low shot from Huber that is blocked by the defender. But that's 4 shots now in the last 2 to 3 minutes from United PDX. This is Cole Amon, triple team, still working with it. And Amon will win the throw-in.
Yeah, they've taken their energy to a higher level. They're playing with more urgency and winning all these 50-50 balls, and hence the game's being played down at this end in the last 10 minutes.
We're going to see a trio of substitutions. On for United PDX will be Kevin Serrano Maldonado, who plays high school at LaSalle. We've gotten a chance to broadcast some of his games. For Oregon Premier, it'll be Gabe Valdez and Spencer Lavelle.
Yeah, and Maldonado, Serrano was on the USL2 team, essentially a pre-professional league with rosters up and down, the D1 talent and actually professional experience. So he's played at a very high level, although his first touch got away from him.
And he's called for the foul. The one thing I will say about Serrano Maldonado is he's a great playmaker. Won't necessarily be a big-time goal scorer, as that was almost misplayed by Kamsutava.
Got a second crack at it.
He's another player who can create, as we've got a foul behind the play there on a United PDX player. More subs waiting to come on. Nathan Peters for United PDX and Ethan Engel for Oregon Premier, as we're into the final 12 to 13 minutes. Both teams trying to use their bench and trying to get a late spark here. Right now it's Oregon Premier who's looking to get a little spark. As I'd say, United PDX's bench has helped them kind of turn this game a bit. I mean, we're still scoreless, but United PDX has been able to generate some chances, started to actually put some pressure on that back line of Oregon Premier, who looked really comfortable early in the game. On the free kick, it will be Mason Kamsutavong. And Mason will boot this one across. That one almost felt like it got caught in the wind.
Yeah.
Saw that a bit in the first game where when the wind picks up, it really seems to be blowing from left to right. The ball just a bit over the head there of Quentin Torbert, the substitute center forward, who Garta must have come off.
Nice ball.
This is Dooku, just a bit over the head of Serrano Maldonado and out for another throw.
Yeah, by the time those two got on the same page, the play was gone and the lane had closed up. Dooku was thinking, I like the idea, but not able to execute.
It'll be Kosick, only able to find the head of Dooku, and then Kosick wins another aerial duel.
Good.
We've seen a very active game from Evan Huber, who's been taking the corner kicks. And again, Solomon Barnett just, I mean this in the kindest of way, he's being a pest to this Oregon Premier defense. Not only tremendous speed, but just not giving up. Really good resilience.
Yeah, just a thorn in their side up front, really causing a lot of problems.
Shot
from the second he came out.
Wide.
The second he came out on that block clearance to, yeah, just really initiating the high line and confrontation in the press. It's working.
Ambitious look there from Nathan Peters as we'll get another change for Oregon Premier. This is Ruben Velasquez who's going to come on. I gotta think that we're running out of bench options, says Velasquez will, oh, I'm not gonna be able to identify that player because he's walking behind the tents. That looks like Jaden Ingarta. So yes, the center forward is now off. Quentin Torbert, who had actually gone to center forward with Ingarta dropping, has come off as there's gonna be a foul on Gabe Valdez, who wears the captain's armband despite not starting.
Yeah, I don't think Connor de Rojas Peterhans is that happy, honestly, with the first half an hour, and he's trying out a lot of different combinations to try to get a little more out of his side. They're such a high-powered side, but they're looking a little neutralized by PDX United at this stage of the game.
Yeah, I would say that I think he's confident his team can win a game 1-0, but I don't think he's going to be happy with just the 3 opportunities and all 3 coming in a short span, which is a positive, but it's not good if you're not going to get any other shots. So no reason to panic. It's not like you've given up a ton of chances the other way either. Neither team has had many great chances. By far the best chance was the shot that was cleared off the line, off the foot of Ariel.
Yeah, best chance of the match.
But yes, it has been a little bit of a while, and really Columbia Premier did have the upper hand going forward, but United PDX has neutralized that. Now it's United PDX that looks the team that is more likely to generate chances and create something here. So this one will be a foot race, and calmly won there by, I believe that was Griffin Scott. It was Scott, the man who made that goal line clearance on Ariel. And again, just getting a foot in there was United PDX players. It felt like Oregon Premier had a little bit of time in the midfield early in the game. That time has kind of gone away. It's taking his time there was Ethan Engel. And
they hit the pitch with just a ton of confident passing and just fundamentals to keep the ball. The Olays were going, and PDX United has really taken that part of the game away from them.
Under 10 to go in the first half. Ball is pushed back to Tate Glock, who's looked really comfortable in the back.
Almost too comfortable on that one.
Yeah, but it looks cooler if you take your time and you just
Sure.
barely get.
I feel like Torbert felt a little whisper of air in front of his boot there. That was closer than comfort. But
yeah, you definitely don't want to take too much time and end up a Logan Carius or one of those other goalies who have had famous gaffes in big games.
No. Infamous moment in your career we're all trying to avoid.
You also don't want a game of this magnitude to be decided on something like that. Glock is in the game in part because of an injury to the team's other goalie, Elliot Perelius, but he's acquitted himself well to this point and has looked super comfortable on the ball. That's certainly a more recent innovation within the game. Ball-playing goalkeepers. It's not the big thing maybe 15, 20 years ago, but now lots of these clubs, colleges, and even professional teams are looking for keepers that can start the attack. As Serrano Maldonado, a nice little chip into the midfield.
So is that. This is danger.
Mendez back for Serrano Maldonado, leaves it off for Huber. Huber looking for the original player, Jimenez Mendez, but he whips it well wide.
I loved the header on the back of the head there. That was really a creative touch.
Yeah, Huber has been active along with Barnett, and the two of us have actually seen Serrano Maldonado in action before, and this is a little bit of what he can do. Really good link-up play. A much better goal kick there as the ball is headed around. Dooku able to get there. Dooku on for Serrano Maldonado, ended up kicking an Oregon Premier player, no call. That player is still struggling. That was Henry Catlin, who's had himself a great game. Kosick goes forward. Catlin's back up, but the pass is wide of angle.
Just when you think the Premier is going to link up some more passes and get back to that part of their game, they turn it over.
It's about 40 minutes into this first half. The long ball looking to find Huber, who may have been onside. They haven't put the flag up yet. It's Serrano Maldonado, whose left-footed shot is pushed well wide.
Yeah, a bit ambitious, always leaning back. I don't think that's his favorite foot.
I think he's actually a left footer, but I think the pressure from the defender, I almost was wondering if that was going to be out for a corner kick, as it looked like the defender really got in there. This is Kosick taking his time. Back for Ferrero, Barco, and Barnett. Substitute, knows he's not going to play 90 minutes in this one, but if he can give 40 really high energy minutes, that's going to be good for him.
I mean, he already stole one, almost stole one off of in Ferrero's foot when he first came on. So
I think we've got another foul throw against Oregon Premier. That would be their second of the game.
It's not going to make the coach happy.
Let's say that's too many. On the throw in, looking for Barnett, who gets a piece of it, and this one will be cleared away. Only player there is Torbert. Skied up, a couple players battling for a good header from Lavelle, one of the substitutes. Lavelle gets another touch just behind Torbert, and wisely played all the way back. And the Oregon Premier coaching staff imploring their players to go forward. Let's pressure here. Keep a little bit of pressure, but this one will go off the foot of Valdez and out for a United PDX throw. The good news, if you're either coaching staff, is you haven't conceded many chances. United PDX is probably going to be happier about that, because this is a team that hasn't conceded, that has had the upper hand this year against Oregon Premier. If you're Oregon Premier, you'd probably be happier with a 1-1 game at halftime than not creating many chances and tied 0-0.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Kind of playing into their style.
Ball comes loose. This is a team that won last year's state title, lost some key defenders, added some goal scorers, and they, according to head coach Connor DeRosas, Peter Hans, don't have quite as much defensive metal this year. So we'll see a late sub. Rodolfo Arroyo is ready to go with under 5 minutes to go here in the first half. He chats with our head official. Just realized that the head official, or the fourth official, for this second game of the day was our head official in game one. So he had to do all the running in game one, and now he gets to have a little bit more relaxing game two.
Yeah, still getting a few steps in. I think we saw the linesman pull a hamstring in the Timbers game last night. Timbers were playing like they all had a pulled hamstring.
Looks like they're going to take off Kamsutavong, the center back. So big spot here for Arroyo. You haven't touched a ball in a while, and now you're going to come in that center back role alongside Kosick. And while both teams have 6 to 7 substitutes, you rarely see center back substitutions at most levels, because you want to have that chemistry. So the ball is played through, and hey, Arroyo is showing he's going to fit in just fine. A nice sliding tackle to get in front of that pass.
I think he heard you and wanted to silence any of that doubt.
I'm talking hypotheticals. I do not know the skill of Rodolfo Arroyo, but
he's showing you. That's good.
Did a nice job there against the dangerous player in Solomon Barnett. Bouncing around, and it's like it was Serrano Maldonado who got there first. It will be a goal kick. We are into the last minute or two of this first half. We'll have a second 45, and if it goes further, we expect that there will be extra time, but we don't have the rule book in front of us. So you might be going on along for the ride right alongside us as we all learn what happens if this game stays tied. Serrano Maldonado looking for Barnett, who's got all the speed. And he runs
that
into
is a
the
foul.
keeper. That's going to be at least a yellow.
You'd think.
We've already seen a yellow issue. There's some pushing and shoving.
Yeah, it's out. Pretty clear and obvious. I mean, it's got an extra piece of the keeper. You can hear it from up here.
Now, we know that Oregon Premier does have a backup keeper in Ethan Yoshiwara. I don't think United PDX has a third string goalie today because of the injury to their other goalie. It's going to be a yellow card issued to Barnett, who has just been going and going and going, and that time probably went a little harder than he needed to. Wasn't going to win that challenge. Second yellow issued today, one to Barnett, one to Ariel of Oregon Premier. And the good news is that Ferrero Bartko is back up and appears to be A-OK. As Barnett chatting with Valdez and the head referee, and it appears like everything is sorted.
Yeah, a few explanations. I don't think he's trying to
I
intentionally
think
hurt or dislodge the ball, but
I think you'd be hard-pressed to get a red card in a game like this for that action.
Sure, but yeah, you even do that again, you might get a even more serious talking to than the second yellow. But he's got to be a little more cautious going forward.
Head ref checks on Ferrero Barco. Seems to be okay, and we're into first half stoppage time, and we'll see just how much stoppage time there is. As Kosick will come over and get a few words of advice from Connor DeRosa's Peter Hans, and then we'll head back to action. And I think that we're just going to go right into halftime, or we'll have our fourth official talk to our head ref and see, hey, how much time do you think we should add?
Yeah, there's no light board.
Well, there is, but it's not turned on.
Oh, got it.
I think it's easier this way, where the referees can kind of figure out the best amount of time. I mean, based off of that and a couple other smaller things, I think it'd be fair to give a minute or two of stoppage time. Stoppage time is definitely not a science at any level.
Right.
And now we're going to see the referee give a yellow card.
I think for the reaction, he came up and he pushed him
I think
after the fact, kind of instinctively protecting his goalie, which I guess you like that too, but now he's got to play cautiously as well.
Believe that was number 12, Max Reckerman. So now we've got 2 yellows on Oregon Premier, and it was Reckerman, and 1 on United PDX. So something to watch in the second half. And we'll have 4 more minutes. So now I actually know exactly how much time we have left. We will play a little bit over 50 minutes in this first half. And I got to say, that is the first time I've ever seen a referee at the youth level communicate not only with the players and coaches, but also it felt like the fans were in on it, which rarely happens at this level, even at the high school level. As Rodolfo Arroyo tries the line drive clearance, headed up, but he's got some help there from Ethan Engel. This is Torbert playing it back for Bradley.
This has just been the story, as far as I'm concerned, in the last half an hour, is the PDX United pressure on the ball, and they've taken Premier out of their crisp, clean passing routine, and gotten him to turn it over, and hence spent most of the half at this end.
Solomon Barnett forces another throw-in, as Mason Bradley's only avenue was to clear that one away. About 3 minutes to go in the half, just under, as they booted so many balls over the fence on that side that I think we're running out of balls. looks like a marsh over there, but I'm hoping that it's dry, or at least.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of mallards flying back and forth.
Yeah,
they probably got a place to dabble.
It's a pretty wet day to begin with, but we have a United PDX player just came back over the fence, but I don't see a ball. Hard to play soccer.
I hope they're not sending the young men after the ball. Yeah, we got one from behind the goal here on the other side. This is an extra minute.
Yeah, we've gone about 40 to 50 seconds. Tate Glock will help out his teammates. This is becoming a problem. This is what they should spend halftime doing. Retrieving all those balls that have been kicked over. So as we have just about 2 minutes left in stoppage time, ball floated in for Dooku, and it's bounced around. This is Huber, who's been all over the pitch. Huber and Barnett especially have looked good offensively for United PDX as Arroyo makes another clearance, and I'm starting to really eat my words. This is Torbert, a nice little turn. Just a little bit too strong there as he was looking for Velasquez. Problem is, Torbert's had to retreat so far that he was collecting that ball essentially at midfield.
It was going to take a superhuman effort for him to get on the end of that. I mean, it just wasn't a realistic offensive opportunity.
Throw-in coming with about a minute to go in the original 4 of stoppage time, as it will be floated forward, looking for Barnett. Instead, it's Arroyo who will loft that one up. Barnett sandwiched between a pair of players in Navy. And now a player goes down, but they'll call a foul, and they'll call the end of the first half. Not a ton of chances. First 15 to 20, that was in favor of Oregon Premier, if you're doing this as kind of a boxing match. United PDX turning the tables a bit, but Ben, realistically, a very even first half with very few good chances, and if anything, United PDX might be the slightly happier of the two sides.
I think United PDX has actually seen a little bit more of the ball and possession and looked the stronger side, but then again, the best chance of the match was for Oregon Premier, and luckily for United, they got cleared off the line with some very alert defending.
It was Ariel denied on the goal line clearance by Griffin Scott. Let's take a look at our sponsors. We'd like to give a shout out to these 6 groups helping put on this tournament. First off, Skyhawk Sports Oregon. Thank you to Skyhawk Sports Oregon, the nation's leading provider of youth sports programs for ages 4 to 14 years. Visit them at skyhawks.com. Bazooka Goals. Thank you to Bazooka Goals, a high-end sports brand supplying the retail market on an international basis. Visit them at bazookagold.com. Sports Pins International. Thank you to Sports Pins International, designing top quality award products since 1980. Visit them at sportspins.com. Soccer Parenting Association. Thank you to the Soccer Parenting Association, inspiring players by empowering parents. Visit them at soccerparenting.com. Tercey's Soccer Store. Thank you to Tercey Soccer, Portland's original soccer store. Visit them at terceysoccer.com. Veo. Thanks to Veo, making sports technology accessible to all. Visit them at Veo, that's VEO.com. We're going to take an audio break and be back with the second half in a few minutes, as it's 0-0 between Oregon Premier and United PDX in the Under-19 Boys State Cup Championship. welcome back to our OYSA State Cup Under-19 Boys State Championship. 0-0 at the half. We'd like to give another shout out to our sponsors making this whole event possible. First off, Skyhawk Sports Oregon. Thank you to Skyhawk Sports Oregon, the nation's leading provider of youth sports programs for ages 4 to 14 years old. Visit them at skyhawks.com. Bazooka Goals. Thank you to Bazooka Goals, a high-end sports brand supplying the retail market on an international basis. Visit them at bazookagoal.com. Sports Pins International. Thank you to Sports Pins International, designing top-quality award products since 1980. Visit them at sportspins.com. Soccer Parenting Association. Thank you to the Soccer Parenting Association, inspiring players by empowering parents. Visit them at soccerparenting.com. Tercey Soccer Store. Thank you to Tercey Soccer, Portland's original soccer store. Visit them at terceysoccer.com. And Veo. Thanks to Veo, making sports technology accessible to all. Visit them at veo.com. Teams are about to head back out onto the pitch. The rain has started again, although it's not very heavy here in Tualatin, as it is a 0-0 game between Oregon Premier and United PDX in the second meeting this year. These two teams played 3 times a year ago, with Oregon Premier having the upper hand. Oregon Premier, the defending champs at the U19 level. On the opposite side, United PDX looking for their second state cup title in 3 years. They won the state title back in 2022 at the under-16 level with this group, looking for their first title at the under-19 level. And as I'm joined by my partner, Ben Efran. Ben, what changes do you think we may see outside of a slightly different personnel to start this second half? Starting with Oregon Premier, what do you think Connor DeRosa's Peter Hans might have up his sleeve for this Oregon Premier side?
Well, truthfully, not a lot. I mean, they've defended well enough. Nobody wants to make a mistake. I'm sure they're going to plug in a few different, personnel substitutions and try to get some chemistry going. Both these teams know each other really well. High caliber talent. And I feel like it's just a little bit of a cautious championship game where nobody wants to make a mistake, and clearly a goal will change the complexion.
On the opposite side, United PDX, you really haven't looked like you're going to concede outside of that one 90-second span in which you gave up 3 opportunities. You've looked better going forward. Especially later in the half. What's the message from David Caban?
Well, I think more of the same. I think that he's going to be the more pleased of the 2 coaches, and certainly, their defensive prowess is well known. And I would think the Premier side, they're going to be a little bit more frustrated. They're accustomed to scoring so many goals; it's not happening, and they're going to start to wonder if today's not their day. So I think United, they're going to keep trying to create on the counter and certainly on that press. They're doing a great job at dispossessing and taking Premier out of that crisp passing game that they want to run.
Well, United PDX is ready. Columbia Premier is not. They're still huddled up. It looks like a couple of their starters are back in. I see Kamsutavong back in.
We getting a little rain to get started here in the second half?
Oh, it definitely has started. We're hoping that it doesn't get much worse. Certainly not the most fun for all of the parents, grandparents, friends, family who have come out to watch what is the last game for the vast majority of these players with their club.
Yeah, a lot of winter clothes out here. Here we are in May. I mean, it's going to be in the upper 80s next week, but I don't know if we even cracked 50 degrees so far today.
I mean, my biggest regret of the day was not wearing my winter boots.
Yeah, once the
young men are out there moving around. They're going to be just fine with it. See a few pairs of gloves out there maybe.
And I think the delay was not in Oregon Premier being ready. It was our referees coming back out on the pitch. So we've got our 3 men in red and our 4th official who's wisely keeping the warm-ups on. Anything to stay warm. Send an extra ball behind both nets and we'll get underway. Hopefully those extra balls will be enough. We saw quite a few balls go out of the complex.
To answer your question, there is a little waterway back there, a little bridge going over it, and there were a few dabbling ducks.
That's the kind of scouting report that I needed. Wasn't gonna leave our perch.
There's hamburgers and Zenner's bratwurst sausages down there in the food cart. Smelled pretty good.
I'm sure some of the players will be partaking after the game, hopefully after a victory, as it's United PDX with it going from right to left here in the second half. Serrano, Maldonado, and Dooku stay on alongside Barnett. This is actually pretty similar to the strategy that United PDX's girls under-19 team did, where they kept on some of their substitutes to start the second half and gave their starters a longer rest, as Gunder Miller is one of those starters who was sitting at the end of the first half, came back on, although he's, again, playing in a little bit of more of a reserved role as a playmaker, he sprayed that pass a little bit too strong, but the UMBC commit will be heading to just outside Baltimore.
Yeah, letting Barnett kind of handle the number 9 duties and playing like a whirling dervish on top there, really causing a lot of problems.
Yeah, definitely not the archetypal body type of a 9. Kind of looks a little bit more, I mean, this is pulling one out of the hat, but I'd say kind of a Miroslav Klose like type of player where he just keeps finding himself in good places. I think players in this generation would immediately think of like a Messi player, where undersized, but I'm going to go back into my bag a little bit further. I think Klose was, if not still is, the leading all-time scorer in World Cup history.
Really? German teams that were just putting them in that
and didn't need that prototypical huge high goal scoring 9. This will be Salmons trying to push it up for Serrano. Maldonado broken up. Handled here and couldn't see the player or the ball because of the tents. I think that's the first time that's been an issue today, where someone was playing with it right in front of one of the tents, which were very kindly provided by OYSA. I'm sure all of the coaches and reserves are happy to get out of the raid. This one is broken up, and Torbert's going to be whistled for the foul on Salmons. Garta certainly had a little bit more success than Torbert in the first half, but it's also, he was in there when the team was playing better. I don't think it was just Igarta. Oregon Premier has struggled going forward. They get a throw in. It will be taken by Salmons. Into the box, headed away by Kamsutavan. And that'll be chested out. It's a good effort to keep the ball alive, but off of United PDX last. That time it was Robert Armstrong. We'll go quickly in for Kamsutavan, who floats it. Armstrong onto the chest of Dooku. Dooku double teamed and wins the throw.
Yeah, smart play, good
And
body position.
more of the same, with United PDX having a little bit more of the ball and definitely more of the ball in the attacking half. For a team that scored as many goals as Oregon Premier, they have been stymied to this point in terms of generating chances. There's Barnett floating it in, and that one will go out of play, I believe. Yeah, it's going to be a goal kick. Ferrero Bartko was there nonetheless, as Kosick will look up. The rain is definitely coming down as hard as it has at any point since the two of us got here this morning around 8:30. This one is popped up by Nathan Peters. Ball loose in the midfield, and it will be Clear out of trouble by Lavelle, looking for Torbert, but immediately Torbert met by one of those center backs.
Yeah, no clear chances, but more of the same what we saw in the first half, that PDX United just keeps winning the ball back, and it's mostly one-way traffic.
Yeah, the wind starting to pick up as well, going right to left.
It's a good ball.
It's Kosick able to handle it, and will play it along on the turf for Catlin. Up the sideline for Torbert, leaving it off. This is better from Oregon Premier. Can they keep it pushing forward? Had to go laterally ahead and dispossessed, broken up nicely by Salmons. Salmons for Serrano Maldonado, cutting it back behind Barnett, and it'll be all the way out for Torbert, who got a good touch. Can he keep it in? He can. That was beautifully done by Torbert. His pass, though, out of the reach of Reckerman.
And not a lot of numbers coming forward for Premier. I mean, he had that nice piece of skill and then really wasn't left with many options.
All pushed along on the turf. That is Jimenez Mendez. Out wide for Peters and for Miller. I've heard lots of good things about Gunder, but he hasn't made a huge impact to this point as he's tripped up there.
Oh, good touch, and he
a
got it
second
late.
one, we could be seeing a yellow card coming. His advantage has been played.
That's right.
Push forward for Dooku. Dooku 1v1 against Kamsutavong. Too strong of a touch. We'll see if this comes back. There's also an offsides. I think you're going to have to, not for the first tackle, but the second.
Yeah, definitely came in late. I like what Dooku did there with a little step over, but then the heavy touch.
So here's the question: is the referee is not given something, and I didn't recognize this. Ariel might have been involved in that second tackle, and Ariel's already on a yellow. So the referee came over and talked to him. I don't think he's going to bring out the yellow, but that is a dangerous play to be making if you are Ariel. Now there was a Oregon Premier player who was down, and it looks like he's going to try to stay in the game. But that could have been game-changing if there was a second yellow issued to Ariel. And again, the first time these two teams played this year, the first and only time, there was a yellow card called within the first 5 or 6 minutes of the second half.
And they had a red at the last head-to-head matchup, and honestly, Ariel's leash is getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah, that's the last thing you can afford to do. You're tied 0-0. You're playing decently well. I'm not going to say this is the best that Oregon Premier can play because they have been limited offensively, but you need to be really wise when you're playing on a yellow. They'll quickly get the ball. No, they're going to have an offsides there, as Kamsutavong will take the free kick. Long ball is popped along, and that was not the intended clearance that Rexler wanted. Eventually booted out of trouble by Peters. And handled there by Catlin, who was not taking any chances. On the turf, push forward. Torbert is there. Torbert battling with Rexler, and eventually picked up by Scott. Griffin Scott will push it up the sideline and out.
Yeah, calmly dribbled out of danger there.
All the way back to Kamsutavong, whose pass is just a little bit too far away from Ariel.
Yeah, I just rushed it a little bit.
Ball flipped up and right back towards Ariel. Double team, battling with it. And it's played out. Carson Salmons has done a nice job from this left back position. We were told to watch out for the right back for this United PDX team in Amman, but Salmons has been very active as Kamsutavong. That's a nice clearance right to a teammate. And now it'll be sent back to Kamsutavong. Really composed center backs on either side.
Yeah, I mean, the defenses have been the story so far.
And the defenses and not the keepers, and it's not that the keepers have played poorly. They just haven't had to do much work because of their defenses. I don't think we've seen a goalkeeper save to this point, as Barnett was offsides. The only shot on target was cleared away by a center back.
He should be doing the NIU that he should be doing. He needs a contract for Energizer Bunny or Duracell. He just keeps working hard up there.
Yeah, he's provided a different look up top. As in the middle of the pitch, it's Reckerman, one of the 3 players on a yellow card in this game. Ahead for Tomas Serrano. Serrano
nice
looking to slide it on the turf, aiming for Ariel, but it's broken up. And now it's Barnett. Barnett has a runner in Serrano Maldonado, but he's being held on to.
Great hold-up play.
And Kosick can't believe it. There was a foul in there, but the referee continued to let them play.
Yeah, because he kept the ball, but at some point, enough is enough. And I agree with the whistle.
Kosick frustrated by it, but honestly, the fact that Kosick was able to keep on him meant that there was no chance for Barnett to release that ball for Serrano Maldonado, who was running downfield 1v1.
Yeah, a bit of a professional foul in that regard.
Salmon's up the sideline for Dooku. Dooku battling along the goal line, and it's out for a corner kick. I believe it's a corner, might be a throw. A little bit difficult to tell as more and more people are dotting the sideline and have their umbrellas up. It's going to be more difficult just to see the pitch.
Exactly.
It will be a throw in from Salmons right along the corner flag. And Salmons will find the head of Barnett, headed along out to the edge of the 18, right back into the mixer. Kosick will clear it away. It's going to be handled by Peters there, is looking for the turn. Peters will flip it back towards the top of the 18. Loose, upended, and this is going to be another one of those free kicks that Oregon Premier really didn't want to give up, as Tomas Serrano is going to be guilty of the foul.
Yeah, really undercut Kevin there, and that had to hurt landing on the tailbone.
So this is pretty much straight away. You're talking, I'd say, just past 30 yards out. And one of the best opportunities of the game if you're United PDX. Gunder Miller's back there alongside 4 other players, but you got to figure that Miller, who is the top set piece delivery player on this United PDX team, is going to take it. There's a lefty to his right. I'm not quite sure which lefty. That might be Serrano Maldonado, but
yep,
I'd assume this would be the righty Miller, and I'm thinking you shoot from this distance. 30
Just
yards out.
What the body language feels like, especially with no real target.
It is Miller. Low shot knocked away by a defender. That might have gotten to Kamsutavong. So second set piece, and again, Oregon Premier, who was very conscious of how good United PDX is on set pieces, deals with it. As there's another little takeout between 2 players. These 2 teams are familiar with each other. It's a big game. There's a foul, and Barnett and Kosick again involved. They had that foul a couple minutes ago. I don't think there's necessarily bad blood, but the intensity is picking up.
Barnett Solomon is working his butt off up front.
Yeah, Solomon Barnett did not start this game, but has probably been the best attacking player thus far for United PDX, and honestly, probably in this game. This free kick will be taken by Reckerman, rather Jimenez Mendez, as I'm starting to get some precipitation on my papers. As this header is on target, but offsides as Travis Rexler got to that long floated ball.
Tough to generate enough power on that. Keeper had it pretty easily, but still, this is the direction of traffic we've seen most of the game.
Yeah, we're going to see a foul start. They didn't let the ball completely come to a stop. It's going to be Kosick pushing it across midfield, but Columbia Premier, again, just 3 shots, only 1 on target, and all of them came in a 90-second span midway through the first half. They have been stymied to this point. Now, United PDX doesn't have a ton of chances. I don't believe they forced a save, but they're the team that's keeping all these clean sheets. Columbia Premier was the teams scoring at an extremely high level, and here's a counterattack 2v5, and good job drawing the contact by Reckerman, as he didn't really have a lot of options. Torbert, the only player in the vicinity. We're past the 10-minute mark of the second half, maybe even closer to 15. I started my watch pretty late. As it's still 0-0 here in the under-19 boys state championship. Getting dispossessed was Spencer Lavelle, but they ruled Dooku gave the foul.
Yeah, showing his discontent with the call, and he's getting a little talking to, I think, just for the public display of dissent.
Well, and I think the big thing there is Dooku saying, hey, I won it clean down low. You probably did win it clean down low, but just like in basketball, did you grab up high? Or typically in basketball it's the reverse. Hey, I had a clean block, but you also knocked his hip as you were both up in the air. So I like it from the referee. He's trying to keep things calm. He's trying to keep players on the pitch. As it's controlled here, it comes Sutavong across midfield for the first time, and interesting to see if they try to push numbers forward here.
Yeah.
Lavelle still with it. Lavelle at the edge of the 18, still going, pushes it all the way outside. I believe that's Serrano. Serrano double teamed.
Yeah, it takes them a while longer to get up here, but then they really do commit the numbers.
Back to the near side, Spencer Lavelle. Lavelle trying to get a right-footed cross, and it's a nice catch by Tate Glock. Has not been called upon much, but he's able to make that. And the rain, I don't know if you can tell on watching from home, but it has really picked up.
We went with the tent, the skylight, conveniently up there for us.
Yeah, the skylight right now is causing a little bit of problems in our space.
Hey, we're here for you, just like the post office. Rain, shine, sleet, hail, snow. We're going to get you the broadcast at Oregon Sports Beat.
Comes Sutavong, able to win the challenge.
Good
now there's a heavy challenge in the midfield.
Challenge. That could be a card. He's in pain.
Trying to push it out. Down on the field is Reckerman, who was called for a foul in the first half, and he's likely to draw one, and he will. It's a quick yellow issued to Travis Rexler. No question about that. 2 yellows now issued on either side. Rexler and Barnett for United PDX. For Oregon Premier, it's Reckerman and Ariel. And now the first question is, how is Reckerman doing after he was taken out hard in the midfield? This is a rare opportunity for Oregon Premier to get a offensive set piece. They're not quite as potent on attacking set pieces, but they're another strong side.
I think both coaches were worried about it and underplaying the threat.
So Reckerman appears to be okay. We're going to see they played advantage. And I don't quite remember what happened at the end of the play, if I'm going to be honest with you. So let's see where. State Cup championship game. So it's pushed forward for Barnett. Barnett over to Jimenez Mendez, and now it's Miller. Miller is one of those players who can make something out of nothing, but Solomon Barnett unable to keep it in.
To throw.
And it's out of bounds and will go back to Oregon Premier. The longer this game stays scoreless, the more any kind of mistake kind of gets magnified. As Serrano Maldonado just got a toe to that. This is Ariel forward, but behind Torbert with his pass. And it'll be picked up by Travis Rexler. Rexler, who just was called for that yellow card, loses out of bounds. Good work from Torbert. The interesting thing is we haven't seen Ingarta. Is this one pushed
right
ahead?
here.
Left-footed shot into the side netting, but early on, it was Jaden Igarta who was the top center forward. Well, Igarta's been on the bench for, say, the last 10 to 15 minutes of the first half. The 15-ish minutes here in the second half. How long do you keep your top center forward on the bench?
Boy, I think I'd already have him on the field, so I'm not going to.
And you could potentially, if you wanted to change your formation a bit, play him alongside Torbert.
Why not?
So we've got a throw, but first we need a ball. So the ball bounced down towards that little water area. More champions are being celebrated to our right. This is a great atmosphere, just a great day of soccer, minus the physical weather conditions. As we've got the U19 Boys State Championship, United PDX looking for their first title of the day on this field. Their girls team lost to the Columbia Premier side 2-0 earlier on. Get a throw in here for Oregon Premier. You can see a lot of chatter on the United PDX sideline between the different coaches, just trying to find a way to break down this Oregon Premier side. Between the two teams, they have scored 34 games in State Cup play and given up just 2. So
yeah, an incredible goal-scoring record, but here we are in a championship game, and things have just slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, well, incredible goal-scoring record, but the defensive record might be even more impressive. Just 2 goals allowed between the two teams, both given up by Oregon Premier. But Oregon Premier has looked really good defensively. They'll face a challenge here. Offensive throw in deep. Carson Salmons, who did it deflect off of? They'll give goal kick, much to the chagrin of the United PDX bench.
Yeah, vocal complaints coming, but to no avail.
This is Kosick, who's looked really confident. He is yet to leave the field. Partner with Kamsutavong, but also Rodolfo Arroyo. Headed along there by Ariel. And Ariel gets it right back for Torbert. Back heel flick. Torbert's got some nice little
look
plays
at the lane.
This is
open.
Ariel, the one named man, still working with it. Ariel at the edge of the 18 has an option. We'll leave it back for Lavelle.
Yeah, I think he had him earlier, but the play is still on.
Lavelle, not in his intention, but able to get it back to Ariel into the middle of the field. That's Bradley. Mason Bradley to the near side.
Nice little spell of possession for Premier.
Yeah, haven't seen a ton of these, but more here in the second half as it's gone along. Rojo for Kamsutavong, the center back looking to make a run. He pushes it out for Lavelle. Lavelle into the box. Lavelle still going with it, meets 3 white shirts, and it's cleared out as far as the Oregon Premier bench.
Better. Lavelle is definitely getting free down that right flank. You'd love to see him get the ball into the mixer.
2 players waiting to check on for United PDX who will come in. It's Cesar Gregorio Torres and a player that we were told to watch out for, Cole Amon. Amon, the starting right back in this game, who's back after sitting for quite a while. They brought Gunnar Miller off a little bit earlier in the first half than I expected, but brought him on to start the second half, and I don't expect him to leave the field. Miller, one of those difference makers in this contest. There's So I say one of those. There's probably 10 to 15 between the two teams.
Miller with that big, strong body, able to
This
shield
is
him
Miller,
off.
but only as far as Bradley, who stepped in front right at midfield. Bradley looking up to the feet of Rojo. Back over for Kosick. Kosick just behind a teammate, but it makes it all the way to Torbert. Torbert thinks about shooting and goes off the back of the heels there of Wexler, and that's probably a benefit because he was not beating the keeper with the shot that he got off.
Unnecessary time to pull the trigger. He had some space in front of him and options, colleagues coming in to get into dangerous positions, so you'd like to pick his head up there and maybe make a better decision.
Kamsutavong has elected to go forward quite a few times. Now, stepping up to help him there was Mason Bradley, but you really got to make sure that that midfielder does step for you. Is Bradley still forward? And it seems like Kamsutavong just trying to maybe add an extra player in the attack. Maybe those two have changed entirely. Is now dropping back is Emi Rojo. Now it's Kosick, both center backs stepping forward. This is dangerous if it goes the other way, and Kosick draws the foul. Quick restart, and
he said he started it too far up the pitch.
Woo! That is always a difficult one, as that looked promising for a moment.
Quick restart. It was dangerous, but he bit off an extra yard or two, and that's against the rules.
We're about the midway point of this second half, still scoreless in this U19 Boys State Cup Championship game. Two more subs ready to go for United PDX. It's Bowen Teuber and Evan Huber. Huber was a real impact player in the first half. He was taking the corner kicks and making some really good runs. As Serrano Maldonado will check off, and how about this? Solomon Barnett comes off the field. He was phenomenal in this game as a substitute, and we'll see who's going to provide that high energy at the number 9 role. It's going to be, it looks like Huber to start, and Huber's played well, but Solomon Barnett was just a one-man wrecking crew. I mean, you said that he could be doing ads for the Energizer Bunny. I think he was the Energizer Bunny early on.
That's right. That is right.
There's Torbert coming back to win the ball. Loose in the middle, and Reckerman can't hold on to it. Going the other way is the opposing number 12, Jimenez Mendez. To the near side for Teuber, just back into the game.
Yeah,
Teuber
good
with
control.
3 navy blue jerseys around him. Teuber crossing it in all the way through, and a blue shirt gets in there ahead of Gunnar Miller. Handled now by Sammons. Sammons over for Gregorio Torres, and just a bit too much behind that pass, aiming for Coleman. Feels like the energy is picking up as the rain dissipates. Kian Mueller ready to check in. He's one of the starters for Oregon Premier as the long ball finds the foot of Ariel. Ariel will be content to pass it backwards. Kamsutavong, a little bit of pressure on him from Huber. And that's exactly what you need if you're United PDX from Huber. Provide that same kind of high energy pressure.
That high press has caused them problems all day.
This is Reckerman, and feels like Jimenez Mendez, who went in for that sliding challenge, maybe hurt himself on the turf there.
Yeah, it looks that way.
And it's dangerous. We've seen quite a few slide tackles from these two teams. It's dangerous when you're slide tackling on wet turf because you travel further. Sometimes that can result in yellow or even red cards or an injury.
It doesn't look like he's wearing shin guards.
Like well, the fashion these days is to wear the thinnest possible shin guard you can.
Yeah. His socks are so low. I just wonder if he's got one. It sure is short. Not that I think he hurt his shin, but that's the look it looks like from up here.
Jimenez Mendez appears to be okay. We're going to see subs for either side. Before that, it'll be Kian Mueller subbing on for Reckerman, who's one of those players on a yellow card. And, well, Renato Beltran was ready to go, but Beltran will sit back down. Maybe he was only stepping up to replace Jimenez Mendez if he needed a sub. This is the Oregon Youth Soccer Association 2024 U19 Boys State Cup Championship game between Oregon Premier FC and United PDX on Oregon Sports Beat. My name is Seth Orensky, joined by Ben Efran, and we've had quite the game, still scoreless, and a bit of a cagey matchup. Not a ton of shots and chances, but a lot of talent on display. Here's Ariel looking to cut through a pair of defenders, but loses it, and a good job shielding him off by Carson Salmons. Should be a goal kick, and instead they're going to say corner. I'm really surprised the referees didn't call the foul for Ariel going on to the back there of Salmons.
Yeah, he kind of leapfrogged his way in there, but good persistent forecheck on the other end here.
It'll be Emi Rojo to take a corner. It's been a while since we've had a corner kick in this game. I don't think we've seen one in the second half. Both teams only had one or two in the first half. Ball is floated towards the backside, headed up, but well wide. That was Ariel getting ahead to it.
Yeah, he wants that one back. Really an open header and a good chance to put that on frame.
Yeah, and Carson Salmons, who thought he had won a free kick, if not a goal kick, is making his case to the referee. Tate Glock to take this goal kick. Glock, the only healthy goalie on the team, and he's played well. As now we will see Renato Beltran coming on, as he will replace Dooku. Did a good job coming on. Yoki Dooku was a first half sub that's played I'd say the majority of this first half, or the second half. Well, it's played more than 25 minutes here in the second half.
Good time to keep it.
Pass, though, is intercepted as Bowen Toiber did a lot of the hard work but couldn't get it past Henry Catlin. Here's a touch on the far side from Mueller.
Good first touch.
Mueller double teamed. Can he keep it in? Well, it's off United PDX, so it stays with Oregon Premier. Trying to find the center forward Torber, but behind him. This is Toiber floating it, looking for Huber off the shoulder.
Yeah, the ball found him a little more than he found the ball.
And Kamsudavong gets it as far as Lavelle. When it's not raining, it's pretty nice out.
It's kind of raining under this tent, although I am very...
It's the residuals of the rain.
Impressed with my waterproof pants. We'll have to recruit these guys for... our next media spot.
Yeah, maybe we can add a 7 sponsor. Handling it now is Catlin, pushing the ball forward. This really feels like a game that, coming in on paper, I was expecting multiple goals, but the way it's played, this feels like this game is ending 1-0, if not going to penalties. There just has been few and far chances in this contest, and give a lot of credit to the defenders. That's a nice job building his way through by Rojo.
And a lovely turn.
Getting manhandled there a bit and no call. The referee seems to have been given a little bit more leeway, as Mueller definitely had his jersey gripped with a full hand from behind, but I think our head ref has decided that as long as no one's going to get hurt, I'm going to give a little bit more leeway. This is Scott for Mueller, who... again, has not been playing in the role that we expected. He's been willing to fall back and play more of a 6 role at points. He's working with it. Here is Beltran, and his pass is sprayed wide. I think we're closing in at this point on 30 minutes into the second half and still scoreless. Who would have thought?
Well, you look at that PDX United defensive record, and I guess you could have half predicted this, but the defenses have definitely won the day to this point.
I mean, we're talking about a game where we've had maybe 9 to 10 shots total, and just the one shot on target that was cleared away by a defender. Neither goalie has had to make a save to this point. United PDX will bring on Alex Aguiar. Another one of those starters who's had a long rest. Brian Jimenez Mendez comes off, and at this point, it's a lot of fresh legs amongst the attackers, and we'll see Kosick come off for the first time. He's in some real pain, but the good thing now is we know what to expect out of Rodolfo Arroyo, and we were impressed with his first half cameo. great to have two center backs who play really well. It's even better when you have a third who can sub in if either player needs a spell.
Cossack's first trip to the bench?
Yeah, I mean, he's been a stalwart in this game. Has looked really good alongside Kamsutavong, and now Arroyo handled himself well in the first half, probably only 4 to 5 minutes. We'll get a longer spell. Throw in along the near side. This is Salmons to the edge of the 18. Huber flicks it on. Ball still loose and cleared out, at least for the moment, by Serrano. Ball is loose. Heavy challenge.
He called it. No, he didn't. No, he's waving it up.
He's waving for a goal kick, but
Yeah,
that was.
Yeah. It's dangerous, but I didn't think that was a penalty.
They're actually going to give it a corner, so they say the defender did make.
He's pointing
something
probably
of
the
it.
player that it came off of, but he pointed in the area of the spot, which would be the way to signal the call, and threw me for a tiny bit of a loop there.
Corner kick to the back post, headed by Huber, and it's
That
in!
is in.
Huber able to get a piece of it. The assist will go to Renato Beltran, and just like that, United PDX with a 1-0 lead with less than 15 minutes to go.
You can see what it means to him. I mean, you've got the whole team, including the goaltender. Tate Block ran the length of the field to celebrate with his mates, and these guys, what a release of emotion. Now things are going to get really interesting.
First shot of the day on target for United PDX, and it's put in by Evan Huber, just barely trickled through the keeper as Aiden Ferrero Barco got a piece, and we'll see the captain check on. This is Gabe Valdez. Kamsutavong comes off, so now the question is, are they playing a back three? And it looks like they're going to make an immediate adjustment to their formation, down 1-0 with 10 to 12 minutes to go. Connor DeRosas, Peter Hans isn't taking any chances.
No, you have to make that move.
And it's going to be Arroyo, who's not even the starter at center back, as the lone center back in this situation. Well, no, there is time. This is a Oregon Premier team that can score goals in bunches. They've scored multiple goals in every game during the State Cup, but they're going to need at least one goal here just to force extra time.
And now an already stout defensive side in PDX United is probably going to drop a few guys and just try to hold on to this 1-0 lead.
And they have not taken Travis Rexler, Griffin Scott, they're two very talented center backs off the field at any point. And you know, if anything, they're going to add a third center back on the field. As here is Gunnar Miller floating one forward, looking for Aguiar, just a bit too strong. And Ferrero Barco is there, but there's going to be a little bit more space over the top now if you're United PDX with just 3 men in the back. Looks like they may still be in a back four. They've just moved one of their midfielders back, but it's got to be in the mind of Rosas Peter Hans.
You fouled, and I imagine PDX United just going to slow everything down a little bit here.
Yeah, and still no Jaden Igarta. I don't know if Igarta was injured in that first half, but the man who started up top and looked good in that role has not played at all here in the second half after coming off late in the first.
Yeah, you'd think they'd want him in there, all things considered, so maybe he did pick up a knock in the first half.
This is Catlin, the left back. And again, we knew that set pieces could be a big factor in this game. Both coaches emphasized it. It's not a surprise that a corner kick is the difference maker. So Miller floats that one forward, bounced around and eventually off the head of Bowen Toiber for a goal kick, but United PDX is going to be content to just keep this ball in the attacking half as long as they can. Again, I started my clock late here in the second half, but I'm already past 31 minutes. It's probably closer to 34, 35 minutes gone by.
Yeah, it's now or never.
Could be a little bit of stoppage time. We saw that in the first half, but you're definitely into the last 15. So another ball is sprayed in. We've seen Ferrero Barco have to do more work over the last 5 minutes. He probably did in the first 70. United PDX is just happy to keep the ball in this spot. Again, Oregon Premier, the defending champs at this level. United PDX won at the U16 level. They haven't called offsides yet. It's Ariel 1v1. Back flicks it, but there's no one there except for the center back, Scott. And then
just a touch of controversy. It's got to be an intentional pass with your foot. Came off his foot, but
I think that would be harsh to call that an intentional pass to the keeper.
Incredibly harsh. That would have been one of, but boy, it would have been a deadly place to take an indirect free kick from.
Handled by Arroyo. As here's Igarta. Took a while for him to come on, but we'll see if he can make an impact as a late sub. Arroyo with a long boot, but there's no one in Navy near the ball. And this is an easier decision for the referees, headed back to take lock. Again, only available keeper because of an injury, and he's played really well, but has yet to make a sub. Neither keeper has made a sub in this game to this point. That one's off the back of Ariel. Ariel wins the second ball, acts as if tripped. Little bit light contact for my liking there, but able to draw the foul, and this is a good spot for an attacking set piece.
Yeah, he beat him with that touch, but felt the contact, and it's part of the game.
It'll be Emi Rojo behind this ball, and you got to figure that you're going to send as many bodies forward as possible. In fact, everyone in Navy is around the 18 with the exception of one player, and everyone for United PDX is behind the ball. Three-man wall, take clock, calling out instructions. 6 bodies lined up on the far side with 2 more potential runners.
Let's see if Arroyo wants to shoot this.
Rojo flicks it in. There's a player there, and a save from Glock. It was offsides, though.
He got hurt there a little bit.
That was Ariel who got the header and who went down hard, but he was offsides. Ariel has been the player creating the most chances.
Hard to see what he hurt there. I think he's going to be up.
Yeah, and the referee keeping time.
Yeah, you see a few calves getting stretched out. You're coming to the cramping time of the game, and you're going to need some heart to push on through. Especially you want to be the state champ.
Like the pace on that ball, the location from Rojo, but Ariel not able to quite stay on side. So here comes Jaden Igarta, and the question is who's coming off? Because I didn't see anyone run off, but either way, it appears Torbert will stay on. So they'll have 2 big target forward options on the field as Valdez gets ahead on it. Huber will keep that one inbounds. Huber, the lone goal scorer in this game, the header off the corner kick, and we're going to see Huber called for the foul. Just a bit too aggressive in that spot. It was Huber from Beltron around the 70th minute.
Yeah, nice little back post header. Went up, wanted it the most, and got enough power just to squeak it in.
It's interesting, we've watched about 180 minutes of soccer thus far here at the U19 level. The girls game going first, the boys game second. No goals from open play. 3 goals scored off corner kicks, and just shows how important those set pieces are.
Yeah, isn't that funny? 3 goals off of corner kicks.
Carson Salmons ahead for Huber, flicked on, looking for Toiber, and eventually played out, and he'll go back to Oregon Premier.
It's kind of a meeting of 2 high boots.
Ruben Velasquez is going to check on. He'll replace Henry Catlin. See if they push Velasquez into that left back spot, or if they do go into the back 3 like I speculated they might. And Velasquez will give instructions. Looks like he's running out to left back. I mean, Oregon Premier has the capability of scoring goals in bunches to the point they don't really need to change the formation, but
I'm sure they'll just keep sending those wing backs higher and higher up the pitch.
This is Arroyo with it, looking up. He's got a boot and will aim for Ariel, knocked down by Salmons. Flicked along, looking for Miller, who's just looked really solid. Not spectacular, but just really solid.
anchored things in the center of the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, you're not always going to have a goal and assist in every single game, but if you're going to be a high-level player, and he's heading to a pretty strong program in UMBC, you need to be able to make a contribution in all aspects of the game, and we've seen that from Miller.
Yeah, a lot of different ways to impact the game, whether you end up on the scoreline or not.
Here is Miller triple-teamed and earns the throw-in. So we are closing in on the final 5 minutes of regulation. I'm going to guess we're going to get at least another 3 to 4 minutes of stoppage time, just as we did in the first half. Huber drops it off for Miller and right back.
1-2.
Huber crossing in, only one player in the box, finds the foot of Aguiar, but cleared out. Now it's all alone. Torbert somehow able to keep it alive. Ball comes all the way back for Glock, well off his line, and he sends a skying clearance that will take a couple bounces and eventually end up with Oregon Premier.
Yeah, alert, confident goalkeeping.
Bouncing around and back to Glock, who will take his time, and then a line drive ball up the sideline and go out for a throw. We're going to have 5 minutes of stoppage.
No, we've just hit the
Yeah, I mean, I
extra
knew I
time,
started
yeah.
late. I just didn't know how much I started late. So 5 minutes of stoppage will keep you abreast of just how much time is left in that 5 minutes of allotted time, as Miller is going to be called for a handball. This is going to be a set piece, but you're right along the sideline pretty deep. I don't know. You're definitely not shooting from this distance.
No, it's time to throw the kitchen sink and everybody into the box.
Yeah, they'll send the center backs forward. This is Velasquez, the sub who just came into the game. What can Ruben Velasquez do? Floats it towards the 6, just over the head of Ariel. It's in!
It is in. It sure is.
I believe it's Quentin Torbert who put it in. The first shot on target for Oregon Premier since the first half, when it was cleared off the line, and it's 1-1 in stoppage time.
Wow. I mean, not a ton of power, but the misdirection was all it took to squeak it in over the line on the turf.
And another set-piece goal. We've seen 4 set-piece goals today, 2 in the girls U19 game, 2 more in the boys U19 game. So we'll see a late substitute. Ethan Engel replaces Ariel. Now, there's still about 3.5, 4 minutes left in stoppage time. We believe there will be 2 15-minute sessions of extra time. Not 100% on that fact, but we could be seeing more soccer. On the goal from Quentin Torbert. What a nice delivery from Velasquez from a difficult spot.
Yeah, really in the danger area, in between. The keeper couldn't come off his line, and they got the goal.
Mueller knocks it down, gets
Game
it over
on.
to Engel, and back to Mueller. First goal that United PDX has given up in the Oregon State Cup. Can they give up a second just over the head of Torbert?
Oy.
That was Engel maybe getting a little aggressive as he kicks it back. On the flip side, though, Ben, we talked to both coaches. Set piece is so important. That ball can't land if you're United PDX defensively. It fell for Torbert, who was able to put it in. I think Tate Glock never saw it, but someone's got to get ahead to that set piece.
Someone's got to get ahead to that set piece. 100% right there, Seth.
So here comes Glock floating it the other way as we're about 2 minutes into the 5, maybe a little bit more. Loose in the midfield, and it's handled by Miller. Miller flicking it forward for Huber, who scored the lone goal for United PDX. These two teams came in having allowed 2 goals in the State Cup. They've now each given up 1. And it's now 36 goals for, 4 goals against. Still sounds pretty good.
Well, it's a fitting ending to a championship game. Somebody's going to have a championship season. You got to get through this last hurdle.
Huber trying to earn his team a throw or a corner kick. Instead, it's off the foot of his teammate. That was Coleman, and we'll get a throw as we have about 2 minutes left now in stoppage time. Headed along by Amon, and Oregon Premier still has time left if they want to get a second goal here during regulation. But there's no rush to get a ball at this point. It would be fitting if this game went to extra time Two teams who have played each other a lot, who know each other well.
Sure looks like what we're in store for.
Yeah, about a minute and a half, maybe a little bit less than that in stoppage. And it's going the other way with it is Aguiar, who's taken out by Engel, and that'll be a foul against Oregon Premier.
And I guess close enough, you can throw a few bodies up.
It'll be Cesar Gregorio Torres to take this one. Miller forward, Huber forward. Here come the center backs. United PDX, hey.
Why not?
Let's see if we can end this game right here. Gregorio Torres, it's a good ball towards the 6, headed away, but to Aguiar, ball still loose, and an important intervention. Miller will get there first, playing it back for Griffin Scott. Scott will go all the way. Nope, fooled me.
Yeah.
Fooled the forward as well, as I thought he was going to go back to Glock. Instead, he finds Miller.
Is that the Busquets move?
Gunnar Miller just a bit too strong there, and it'll be Emi Rojo tracking this one, trying to hold off the attacking player who almost won that. Good work from Beltran, who had the assist on the United PDX goal, and we are seconds away from the end of stoppage time. What an exciting game this has turned into. It's not that it wasn't exciting to begin with, but 2 goals in the final 20 to 25 minutes. First, the corner kick goal from Evan Huber, and then Quentin Torbert in the first, maybe second minute of stoppage time off the really good delivery by Velasquez, and we're not done yet. Shot from distance is deflected up and over for a corner kick, and will they have time to take it? We are done the 5 minutes. Now, there was a goal, a celebration you can add on past the 5 minutes, and it's Beltran, the man who had the first assist, who's going to take it. This is the first corner since United PDX scored a goal.
It's the most dangerous play of the day, so we'll see what they can't get out of this corner.
Beltran service towards the back post, and
it's
it's headed in!
Oh, it's in! It sure is.
It's going to be Gunnar Miller, who I believe was able to head it in off the header at the backside that might have been going in. I think Oregon Premier is asking, was he in an offside position? But for the second time today, United PDX scores off a corner kick taken by Renato Beltran. And just like that, our second goal in stoppage time, and it's United PDX who leads it 2-1.
We talked about the impact Gunnar Miller's been making all day, and looks like he made the most decisive act of the day, I mean.
And how about the delivery of Renato Beltran, a pair of really, really good balls to the back post. And again, all of these set pieces have been really dynamic. 3 goals scored off set pieces, 2 for United PDX, 1 for Oregon Premier. There can't be much time left. Oregon Premier sending everybody forward. Maybe a minute to go.
If that, oh no.
Ball flipped forward to Valdez. Valdez has 3 white shirts around him, dispossessed, and that will do it.
Oh,
United PDX
ouch.
nearly with the last kick of the game. Their second corner kick goal. It was put in by Gunnar Miller after it was headed back towards net. And United PDX wins their second title in 3 years, their first at the U19 level. Oregon Premier, the defending champs, fall just short in what was a tremendous finish to a very well-played final.
Absolutely thrilling finish here. You can see what it means to the boys out there. What a great timely finish, and the corner kick was just the deadly weapon of the day.
We knew set pieces were going to be a potential place where both teams would be successful. For David Caban and his staff, they drew it up really well. Give a huge shout out to Renato Beltran, who had really good delivery on the few corner kicks he got to take. Goals from Evan Huber and Gunnar Miller, we believe, will be credited with the second goal. Now, there's no official score, so I think we can just say he got it, although it might have been going over the line either way. On the opposite side, Quentin Torbert scored.
Took a deflection, right? He got the header and then.
Well, I don't think he had the header. I think he actually had the touch basically right in the middle of the 6.
It'll be exciting to go back and see the replay on that.
Yeah, I don't think Beltran necessarily will get the assist, but it was certainly his ball. And then Quentin Torbert on the other side. It was United PDX who went up late in regulation Oregon Premier, who scores early in stoppage time, and United PDX scoring with less than 30 seconds to go in stoppage time to earn the title, their second in 3 years. They won at the U16 level. Now they cap off their season 15-1 with a victory at the U19 level. For Oregon Premier, a really strong performance. They fought till the final seconds, but we heard it from head coach Connor DeRosa's Peter Hans. They had to win those individual battles. They had to be courageous on set pieces, and they just could not get the better end of the United PDX on those defensive corner kicks. Ben, any final thoughts before we wrap it up here on Oregon Sports Beat?
Oh, how much fun was that? What a thrilling finish to the Oregon State Cup here. These young men can be very proud of themselves. And like I said, you can see what it means to them. Look at those smiles.
Well, it's been a pleasure watching these games. Hopefully you enjoyed it at home. For my partner, Ben Efran, for myself, Seth Orensky, we hope you enjoyed it as well. United PDX, your champions at the U19 boys level.